Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage. We're here with Kevin from True Shine. Luckily enough, Kevin is my neighbor.
Easy.
So I asked Kevin, he does some really great jobs on transforming cars that are horribly disgusting.
Big time, big time.
So into nice jewels. A lot of times he's working on newer cars, but he does do some older stuff. And as soon as I got this car, I thought of him because this is, I know the red's just like
red's gonna be sweet. Yeah, it comes up so nice. It's glossy and still will keep like an old look to it. But man, they come up so good. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So I think this when I bought this car, like one of the things that made me excited is you could see that it used to be really nice, and it's just dirty. So we're gonna start with the interior today. I'm gonna let him take the lead because I know nothing about cleaning stuff. So he's gonna show some tips and tricks along the way that he does to help. And hopefully we can show you this white and black pleated interior will go from something that's pretty gross to something that's really kick-ass.
Big time.
Not quite white anymore.
No, shut that. Here I go.
Yeah. Swap it up. Stupid suicide doors.
Yeah, right?
Oh, you know what? We might be able to use this Eastwood stand here. All right, so we got the little Eastwood adjustable work stand, and it's all dirty from doing the oil pan, but we'll make it do. Use the blanket, and we'll throw the. I don't know how high you want this, but
It's perfect. Now it's clean.
yeah. Ta-da! And these got little fold them down. The front feet.
Oh, I got
Because
you.
it folds forward.
That's perfect.
But you can just move it around. That should work well. Sweet. So Kevin's got this fancy steamer.
Look at this.
Professional fancy steamer. This one's way better than the one you're just gonna get at Walmart. To clean up your carpet.
It's definitely nice to get in the cracks. And then you don't have to worry about any harsh chemicals harming it. These seats are in really good shape, so using an all-purpose won't hurt it. But some of the older stuff, sometimes the all-purpose could stain it. But this with the steam, you don't have to worry about that. We're still cleaning it, still getting it just to look nice. And sometimes even with the hot steam, it can remove these dents. Depending on how bad they are, it can come out. Definitely won't make it worse, but it does help.
Something so satisfying about you can see it's kind of like a power washer / steamer.
Big time, yeah. There's different attachments you can use. You could use this that has the bristles, but I like this one to get into the cracks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's the cleaner you're using?
This is just a normal all-purpose, kind of watered down a little bit. It's nothing too heavy duty. I know it doesn't leave any marks. It won't stain or harm anything, so I'm pretty confident in using this. One kind of tip that I use, it's can leave a mark. I use a scuff, these gray Scotch pads to really clean that. You do have to be careful if you don't have enough cleaner or it's too much a grit, it can harm it. But if done right, maybe by a professional or you just know what you're doing, it can leave the seat looking good.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to touch this because I know me. I would have used like a
sandpaper.
I would have used like brake clean and a harsh scuff pad for metal, and it would have just taken the white off the seats.
Yeah. No, this is in good shape.
I know enough where my limits are. And
right. There you go. Yeah. Right. You know enough to know what you don't know.
Yeah. And a car like this, we can't just replace the seats.
No. Awesome. Yeah. Man.
So is this like, is it like a mold? Like what is?
Dude, I think it's just dirt.
Condensation.
Yeah, it's like nothing crazy. It's literally just coming off with.
Nice.
Yeah. Which I'm pretty shocked. Like it's in really good shape.
Yeah, I was just scared of like
Yeah. No, this seat.
Because like my guy that did the interior in my T, he was like warning me. He's like, you gotta be careful with cleaners, because like with white, you can like stain it or like take the white out of it. So like I was so scared of. And he's like, if you don't know like the old upholstery, he was over the other night and he was like looking at it, and I was like kind of asking about him. Like I just got the feel of.
Yeah, I mean, this seems to be a pretty like this almost seems like a normal vinyl that's in like any car, any normal.
Yeah,
car.
he was looking at it the other night when he was over, and he said it was just it was just a vinyl, but it's just was done back in like the '60s. But it's like Naugahyde or was a style of vinyl that was popular back then. But it's just like synthetic. It's not real leather.
No.
It just makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
It's probably just like boat vinyl they would use.
That's
a lot of
I
times.
think. Oh, I gotcha.
But
yeah, I mean, it seems to be.
holy crap.
Yeah.
It's like, so Andrew, while Kevin's working on that, Andrew got the front seats out obviously for him, and we're gonna try and get some more of this interior apart. We know that the floor in the car is has a little bit of surface rust on it. It's not bad, but it's definitely something you want to take care of since we're taking the interior out and cleaning everything. I want to see what's underneath these carpets. We already know that right here you can see, if you want to come in here, Andrew, you can see that they cut the floor. I think this is their access panel for the master cylinder. Where's our light at? Grab that. So we'll give you some light here so you guys can see. So there's this, torch cut this piece out of the floor, and then here's our master cylinder for our brakes. When you guys first saw us pulling it out, some people were commenting like, look under the the driver's left foot for the master cylinder. Well, that's where it's supposed to be, and I didn't see it, and that's why I was a little confused. Well, they put it here in the center, which is a little odd, but just an early juice brake conversion. So this is not a great way to do it. We're gonna have to figure out a way to maybe make it a little nicer, at least put some tabs or something on it. But that was a nice little surprise. So I think this has like buttons or something here. Oh, yeah, like little buttons to pull the floor mats up. So I don't know if these are original or not. I'm not old enough to have really taken one of these apart when it was original or nice. In fact, this is probably one of the nicest old cars I've ever had that hasn't been redone. Oh, there's our torched out floor. Man, this thing is nice. Look at that floor. Some sandpaper. Still got the black paint on the...
We will see what goodies are underneath the rest of this.
Yeah. We'll probably have to get the we'll have to get these seat belts out next.
Yeah.
So let's regroup and get those, and then we'll go from there. All right. Let's see what the back carpet section. Like I said, I think this might be the original carpet. I'm sure somebody will correct this that's taken one apart.
Oh my god.
Wow. Look how clean that is, my God. It's crazy. Ooh, it's dirty. Look at that floor. That's just insane. This might just... Let's see what's under the seat. Let's hope there's a bag of money.
Yeah, right?
The car's already in my name, so nobody can claim it's theirs. No.
No money?
Just a mouse nest
No money?
and newspaper. Well, we found the mouse. He blew out the tailpipe when we started it for the first time.
The conditioner I'll put on it is a water-based conditioner, so it won't leave it streaky, or it won't leave it all greasy like you would if you had like a silicone, just Armor All type product. And it gives it like a nice satin matte finish, kind of like a factory look. And so not only is it clean, it looks clean without being all greasy and in your face. Gives it a factory finish. Maybe a little bit nicer than factory, but clean enough.
Leave it out there. We'll just carry this out. And I'll find it. Oh crap. See how dirty they are. Like
Yeah.
so, here. You want to start cleaning that out. All right, so we got all the majority of the mousy goodness, Mousie's home out of here, and the back seat bottom for the back seat is not too bad, but it's got some weird sticky goodness, all kinds of stuff on it. Special appearance by Mike. He comes right when the work's about done.
Yeah,
Of
course.
Oh, there he
Show him
is.
do the hard work.
Hey.
I think it was cool with the black carpet, it was outside.
Oh, you want it to be there.
But I think this car works. What's up with it?
Is it a Ford Master Stone or is it some weird house?
Ford, it's just Ford. Alright, you can see just half how clean it is over to dirty
mess. Yeah. Same with here, this is all smooth, and then when you try to rub your towel on that, it's all
rough with.
yeah, nastiness.
Interior was probably never even cleaned this good when it was
No,
when
right?
it was first built. It came out awesome.
Yeah.
So try to figure out how to get the seats out, and there's pins in here. There's supposed to be pins where it hinges right there. Here's the one. It's a little sharp, kind of odd. Pretty sure that's a nail. Did somebody just jammed in there? I'm not sure, but definitely wasn't attached properly. So we'll get the other one out here, and we should be able to pull the seat out. You can see how clean everything is back, even in these nooks and crannies where they tend to rust. Super clean. Just got a little mousy residue, and that's it. Hand somebody a seat.
Coming.
Actually got some bit of weight to it.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Sweet.
You need more shit to do, you know that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I go to bed at night and I'm like, man, I don't know what this is like. tiny it is. Luckily, this thing wasn't that bad. So it was like,
Yeah, it cleans up so nice.
instead of spending this whole time on one seat, you got pretty much all the seats done.
Yeah. Oh.
So you're using a gray Scotch pad and not a green one like I use. It's much less aggressive, I guess, like the fine.
Yeah, the gray's really fine, yeah. And then I'll just spray this to continue just to keep it wet as a lubrication, I suppose. If there's ever cracks, you do kind of need like a brush to kind of get in a crack, because if you did this, it would just kind of like sand it down.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Because of the bristles will get in the little tiny cracks, but this one's not terrible.
I guess some of the stuff with like a real heavy grain, like a leather
Yes.
that has a real heavy grain, I can see that being a problem.
Exactly. You can smell it.
Whatever it is that's on it, just mildew.
Pretty much.
Crazy.
Yeah, right?
All right, we got the interior all cleaned up and everything, and I realized before we start putting the seats and all the stuff back in, we probably should take care of the floor that's in the car. It has some original paint on the back part of the floor, but the front floor has a little bit of surface rust on it, and while it's not like crunchy that needs to be replaced, there is some surface rust that we want to take care of and get it sealed up. So what we're going to do is use some Eastwood Rust Encapsulator Plus, and we're going to roll it on and brush it on. The reason we're going to do that is because we don't want to splatter paint everywhere, and we don't want to spray and get overspray over everything. So Andrew actually worked on earlier getting everything taped up so the whole inside of the car is all safe and we're not going to get any splattered paint anywhere. So we're going to get that all painted up, and I'm going to dump our mixed encapsulator here right in our tray. This should be plenty. And we'll roll it over and get working on coating this floor up. All right, so we got all the rust encapsulator rolled on, and that's pretty much dry. But before we fully untape the car, we decided that those back two corners that Kevin couldn't get perfectly clean, we think it was the old glue that was underneath in the corners. So what we're going to do is use some SEM vinyl dye or vinyl paint that you can use on interiors, and I grabbed two different types, and I'm not sure which one's going to be the closest to what's in there. The normal white I got, but then they also have what's called a super white, but the cap looks more like a beige, so I'm a little scared of that. So I got both. We're going to do a little spray out quick, and then once they're dry, we'll hold them up to the panels in the car, see which is the closest, and we figure by spraying this on, at least it'll be better than drawing your eye with the gross orange stains that are in it. And even if it's off just a little bit, it won't draw your eye to it when the car is all together. This is kind of the last thing before we can start putting the seats back in the car, which is pretty cool.
All right, super white first. Wow, that doesn't, where's the cap at for that?
So this is the cap, and this is what scared me, and I got
Hold it up to the...
So we just did a test. Definitely their cap is not quite right, but we want to do these test panels just to see.
That was a can on Monday, or Friday afternoon.
The cap, yeah, I don't know. So this is super white.
Ah, it does look a little beige.
I don't know. So we'll let that cure.
So, regular white now.
Yeah, let's do our little test.
Ooh, that's definitely whiter.
Huh.
Interesting. They might want to change the cans from, wow. It's definitely even noticeable.
Yeah, it looks a little more. Let them dry, and then we can hold them up to the back of the car and see where we're at. All right, so we got these two pieces, let them dry, and I'm actually really surprised. When we sprayed it out, I was like, oh man, the white. So number one, if you guys are getting the SEM interior spray, the white is more of a pure, true, like ice white or whatever you want to call it. What they call the super white, which I would think would be more like that, isn't. But actually, in the end, I'd say the super white, which is a not quite a pure white, is probably the closest match. And more than likely, that's just because of the material over the years. Even though we cleaned it really well, it still isn't like a perfect ice white or whatever you want to call it. So I think the super white is the pick. And when we spray that on there, it won't contrast too bad. But if you see this, it's probably going to actually look too clean. So that would cause a problem where it would just pop too much. So we're going to go with the super white. So I'm going to get some Eastwood Pre on a rag, wipe down those corners really good to get any residue off of them, even though Kevin cleaned them really well. I'm going to do it once more. We'll tape the area off, dust on some of this super white, just enough to cover everything up and cover up the yellow, and then we'll let it dry and show you how everything turned out.
All right, so change of plans.
Yeah, I decided to pull the garnish molding off. It was just a few screws to get these out. And I got my little Eastwood trim tools. We're getting behind these little tiny tack nails. And the wood's pretty soft still, so you can just pull it right out there.
It'll actually be better because this corner here, where Matt's blocking, there's the door card kind of overlaps. So we'll at least get a good paint now.
Yeah, the whole thing will be painted evenly and not like
Have a weird line.
Yeah. But you see how clean it is behind the other panel we just took off.
Oh wow, yeah. Matches.
This just overlaps the fabric. There we go. Marked left side. Sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna take like 2 or 3 coats, I think. For this one at least.
I mean, even that looks better.
Does, definitely.
Look how quick it's drying.
That stuff dries like insanely fast.
Yeah, it's like pretty crazy. Of course it gets windy right when you want to spray paint. Yeah, I mean, if you
That's coat number what, like 3?
yeah, it's like coat 3-ish. I mean, it might come back a little bit, but looks a lot better.
How much is that stuff a can? It's like amazing.
For just saving this interior, it's worth every penny, even if it was $50. It isn't $50.
Like I can't see any ghosting at all.
Yeah, if you look really hard, I think you can kind of see it, but I think I'm gonna let it dry and see where it's at. But I think for what we're going for the car,
We'll see how it looks compared to that, to the middle piece now.
yeah, I think it'll be close. It looks damn close.
Cool, let's hang this one up inside so it doesn't blow away.
I will need the garnish molding then, once I get it in.
Wow.
It's like a pretty darn close match.
Like if you didn't know we painted this, you would never be able to tell.
And the other thing I'll say is, like, we just painted, like, these were painted not very long ago.
It dries in like 10 minutes.
It's like insane how quick this stuff dries, so just got to get it back into
Place.
place. There we go. clicks right back in like that. Hold on, let me get this.
Two
Screws in.
It's kind of random that they use 2 screws.
Probably just whatever worked.
Wow, man, that is.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how that looks. I mean, it's like a dead-on match for the headliner, and
It honestly blends pretty well to that middle panel too. It's not.
yeah, I think it just looks like it's like the headliner, like it's just a little cleaner than the other parts,
Yeah.
you know. But
It's not yellow.
yeah, it's not gross yellow.
Wow, that looks.
Really good. It's like a really nice match. I mean, especially here, you look at the headliner to the
It's
panel
like
we painted.
perfect.
It's like perfect. This is a little different here, but I mean, honestly, it's so close. I'm super happy with it. If we really bothers me enough, we can repaint these. I'm gonna do something with the garnish moldings eventually. I'm hoping like a chrome set will fall into my lap someday. Fingers crossed. That isn't $1 million, and maybe we can put that in here.
Just gonna say that's probably highly unlikely.
Yeah, so if not, we'll probably strip these and repaint them, but for now it'll work just fine. So we're gonna throw the seats back in, and finally, you can see how this thing looks with a clean interior. Psyched. Is that Moon? Oh, that might be the hound dog that guy walks.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It's Moon's friend, which Moon always plays with him when he...
Dude, that looks really good.
You just gotta get this. Ah, there it is.
Hi, Moon Doggy.
There it is.
Wow.
That clips in, seat bottom slides in, we'll be in good shape. Hot diggity. Alright, sit down. Just for now, we're just gonna...
A little further forward.
These little feet fold forward.
Where would you like the visors? Back seat?
Well, just leave them out for now because we'll get our like finish shots. Set that in. And I'll get out of the way. Oh my god, that looks awesome. And Mike's butt crack.
I pulled my pants up.
It came down again.
You're gonna have to edit. You're gonna have to edit
I'll
that.
blur that out. I'll blur it out.
This will be really fun.
Wow, dude, that looks.
Alright, so we got the interior all cleaned up, got the seats back in. They're just setting in right now. We don't have them bolted in quite yet because we have a little more to do in the floor and stuff. But really happy with how the interior came out. It is just, looks phenomenal. The seats really, the white in the seats just came back and everything just pops really nicely. And we've already had a couple people to stop by that were like, wait, you had this thing reupholstered already? No, this is the interior that was in it when we bought it. Oh my god, I can't believe it. So it looks that good even in person. But if you look real close, you can tell it's old upholstery. It was done back in the day, but it just fared super well, which is a testament to how Larry kept this car stored. It really kept it in good shape. And it was just dirty and musty and, you know, from sitting around and the temperature changes over the years. So now we have the interior all cleaned up. We got the floor sealed up with Rust Encapsulator Plus. We're pretty much ready to start putting the interior back together. One thing I need to do is they had crudely cut out a panel that went basically over where the master cylinder now is in the center here for the juice brakes, which is kind of an unusual way they did it, but it works. What I'm going to do is take that panel that they just cut out with a torch, and I'm going to clean it up, put some little tabs on it that it actually bolts in or screws in instead of just like kind of just sitting in there and rattling around. And then I could coat that with Rust Encapsulator, put that back in, and then we could start bolting the seats back in, and that should be pretty good. I need to figure out what I'm doing with the dashboard as well. We have the dash, we also have the header panel, but they are pretty faded, and the white color that they were painted is almost like an ivory, and it kind of clashes with the interior. So I'm thinking I'm going to go over the whole entire garnish moldings, the dash, the header panel, all that stuff, and probably try and find a white that is closer match to the interior. It's more of like a pure white, so we could spray that and it'll match a little bit better. I also need to figure out what I'm doing for the gauges. Originally the car from what we can tell, had the 34 stock gauges in it. But I'm trying to kind of embrace what the car is, but put my own little touches here and there, try and think of what they would have done to the car. If they kept driving it, would have been some upgrades that would have been made. And I think a set of Stuart Warner gauges or a neat little gauge panel would have been one of those upgrades that will help make the interior pop. Also make my life a little bit easier because I can hook all that stuff up a little easier than getting some of the stock stuff to work again. Especially with the coolant gauge and some of that stuff. I'd rather save those items that Larry had and potentially sell them on to somebody that's building a completely stock car and put a Stuart Warner panel in it. But I need to stare at that stuff. Who knows? My ideas change daily, weekly, by the minute. Who knows? So just really excited that we now have an interior that's really clean that I can sit in and make engine noises. Next time what we're going to work on is actually getting the engine and stuff put back together the rest of the way, get the gas pedal put in, get all that stuff put together so that we can move this thing under its own power, and also start figuring out what we're doing with the wiring, the dash, all that kind of stuff. So we'll keep doing these updates sporadically as I get time to work on the car, and definitely we'll keep moving on it. We're hoping this summer to be driving the car. My tentative goal for the car is the Wheels of Time show in August in Macungie, Pennsylvania. We took the free tea there last year and they were nice enough to give us a really great spot. I think we're going to bring this car, possibly the 32 as found, and maybe the free tea this year. But I definitely want to bring this car out, let you guys check it out, and hopefully by then it'll be a running, driving car that we can just drive there and put on display. So that's the plans. We'll see. Who knows? Thanks guys for watching. Catch you later.